There we go. Yeah, we're not in freaking Kansas anymore. I'm talking West Coast for the week. So, plan for today to get started, and it feels good to be back in the car. Yeah, we just had a little bit of a family trip kind of combo, so car talks were sparse the last few days. Yeah, this is nice. But now, plan for this morning is going to be some back. I'm talking lats, traps, and every other little fancy detailed muscle in between. But the way I look at it, you can really effectively only kind of work those two areas at once. Lats, upper back, mid traps. So, I'm not saying you can't super specifically crazy isolate your teres major or something else like that. But for the most part, if I'm doing an elbows flared, like chest height row, I'm feeling my mid traps, I'm feeling my rear delts a little bit, I'm getting teres major, rhomboids, pretty much just everything in that area. So if I'm looking at it like that, that's why I've been kind of separating my back training between straight lats and then really specifically upper back rows. I've kind of just been hitting back, like, hit the whole thing, get a pump, good. It's not like I've got a small back or anything, but I think I've been under training it a touch, and not necessarily in terms of intensity, but just, maybe just kind of in terms of programming almost in a way. Like when you're doing shoulders, you don't just come in and do a little front delts and maybe one set of side delts and one set of rear delts and you're done. Right? You target each portion individually. And I used to kind of think, back's back, but now I'm a little bit more intent with it. So I'll either do all lats, then all upper mid-back traps, all upper mid-back rows, lats, or some kind of combination of the two in like a superset sort of fashion. So I kind of treat my back like arms, just two muscle groups rather than one. So going forward, since I'm trying to stay lean for a little while longer this summer and only start bulking up in the winter time, I'm not really going to grow really much at all. Maybe a teensy little bit. Oh, excuse me. But if you're dieting, if you're staying leaner, that's more of a state of maintenance, and at best, minor changes. But speaking of that, that's one question I've still been getting, even though I've brought it up a few times, so we'll run it back again. Why no more bulking? Why did this bulk end? Is Sam ever going to bulk again? Is Sam ever going to do a show again? Right? I mean, the whole point of being a bodybuilder, you'd think, is maximize growth. But I don't know, man. Reverse time 3 years ago. Some would love to hear this, and some would hate to hear it. I guess it just kind of depends on your mindset. But 200-ish pound Sam, as soon as I really got into bodybuilding and everything that goes with it, I was dead set. There is going to be a 300-pound bulk Sam. There's going to be a 300-pound bulk Sam like the sun is going to rise tomorrow morning. It's a guarantee. You'd be crazy to think anything otherwise. But here's my current headspace, because, it's a very different perspective thinking from like 210 to 200 than actually getting up to that like 240, 250, and then thinking about 300, because at the end of the day, I have no aspirations to be or to have an open bodybuilder look, at least not currently. We go back and we look at a Kevin Levrone, the classic training clips. He's got the headband, or at least he's just walking around freaking shirtless, looking like a total freak. I don't know how much he weighed in some of those old training montages, but those were nuts. But I wouldn't consider that an open look. That's a little bit more that's like classic deluxe. Let's put it like that. I think the guys from like what would you say? Is it mid 80s or mid 90s ish? Well, that era before we made the distinction between the two, obviously after, kind of the golden era, I'd call that classic deluxe. Everybody got bigger, but kind of all in the right places. So how I'm looking at it for me is, I do want to get bigger, but maybe not systemically bigger. I don't want my waist to grow much more. I want my legs to thicken up. I want my arms to thicken up. I want to feel like I've got, trunks popping out of me for each 4 limbs. But if that's at the cost of a certain well, you could just say a certain look, almost, So the closer I've gotten to that 300, the more I've kind of realized I think I like a little more in that middle ground, that 250-pound range. That's pretty cool. And if you look at any more, any more successful bodybuilder guys, they're not bulking so hard off season going on. Like they kind of take what I sort of, at least, see from my perspective as an approach of like gradual changes. I've never seen a soft C-bum, because even in his off seasons, he's creeping up his calories so gradually. I mean, shit. I like peak off season Chris is still nuts peeled. So I think I'm going to try to take that approach going forward. So I've definitely had my fair share of bulks, but did I put on more body fat than necessary? Probably. Did I have a lot of freaking fun doing it? Definitely. So that's a little bit different, But I think going forward, after these next couple of months of just staying leaner for the summertime, when I start increasing my calories and actually trying to see the scale go up, I need to really slow it down. I thought I was increasing my calories slow coming off of this prep just over these last 2 months, but I think I gotta really set it to freaking, snail speed in terms of, okay, an extra 50 grams of carbs, at least, on average. If you have a day that's up and a day that's low, it kind of balances itself out. But I'm gonna have to really slowly creep up my macros. And that worked out super well for this last prep, dieting down, where I was super slow with decreasing and restricting my calories. It took a little longer, but I think the end result was much better than my more, I don't want to say crash diet, but my faster paced dieting phase for my first shows. So I think the answer's been in front of us all along, slow and steady. Now, not necessarily all the time, especially if you're hitting a freaking nasty set. But in terms of looking at it in a long game sense, I think that's the way to go about it. And it's kind of always been like that, Nobody's coming into the gym thinking, okay, I want to be dream end goal build in 3 months. There's a reason why every coaching program, or at least every sleazy coaching program, is always hyping up like 1 month transformation, 2 month transformation, because that's what people want. I want $1 zillion right now in a freaking, random like find on the ground lottery ticket. That would be awesome. But a little bit of a pipe dream, that's where, what do you think? What do you think is the most legit time frame of a transformation? I think if somebody's selling a 6-month transformation, that's very doable. I think a year transformation, that's legit. But who wants to lock in for a year? Who wants to really make that shit happen? A lot of the times when I'm in the car talking like this, I feel like I'm kind of, I don't know, you tell me if you think this is right, but I feel like I'm trying to give basic kind of hype to everybody. I'm not trying to dog on anybody specifically, because that's just not cool. But, there is an unfortunate reality. I've seen it, I've seen it 100 freaking times, probably more than that. 100 is a little bit of a stretch in the negative direction. Like, I've seen it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get peeled. I'm gonna get shredded. I'm gonna get huge. I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna this, that, or the other, and it doesn't fucking happen. And I know why people say that, because it's a feel-good feeling to put out in the world. I'm going to make some badass shit happen. I'm really going to go for it. Just wait. Right? Now, if the dude really does it, well, then hell yeah. Right? But I think that's a little bit of, that's certainly the odd one out, the outlier of that situation. Because, this isn't totally accurate. You tell me if you agree with this. But as far as I'm concerned, with a lot of the stuff that I like doing, or that I really want to stick to and work at and get better at over time, I almost don't want to talk about it until it's time to present. I feel like I want to be like an estranged. Now, I don't think of myself as an artist, but I like this analogy. Like, I like to think of myself as like, you lock something in, or you got a room in the basement, you got a door on it locked 24/7, except for when you're in there working, and then boom, you show some shit off once you got it ready. Because I think a lot of the times we blur the line between manifestation and I guess what you'd probably just call coping. Because, you know, what would you say if over these last couple of years I was always telling you, dude, I'm doing it, man. I'm going to compete. Just wait for it. I'm going to make it happen. And then I came up with like a million excuses. Like, oh, you know, the time's not right, you know. Oh, you know, I got this chest thing. I want to recover it. I don't want to compete yet and diet. I gotta heal back up first, and then I'll be ready. Oh, you know, right? Now that happens. Sometimes shit actually happens and completely legit, you know, so you get a couple chances. It's not like you make one excuse in your life and then everybody thinks you're like a total punk poser. But how many excuses can you start saying? How many times can you say you're going to go for it and then it doesn't happen until, you know, I don't want to say people, but maybe even just you yourself start to realize, fuck, man, am I just making this shit up? Am I just saying all this stuff for fun? You know, like what the hell am I doing? So just something to think about, right? If you want to get after it, it's not something where I'm just getting turned around right here. I got to go the other way. But if you really want to get after it and, you know, and make progress and get results in anything, that's an internal, let's just say, an internal mindset shift. It doesn't matter who knows you're doing it. It helps if people support you doing it, but that's not a requirement. That's more of a luxury. And, you know, it's on you. It's freaking on you. You know, I'm a little bit spoiled because when I started working out, I had zero interest in posting anything at all. So my early stages of the gym was just me working out for me because I wanted to. That was the end of it. That was the only reason. It's still kind of, I think it's still probably the main reason. Obviously, you know, now I post everything and I get different, you know, different feedback and whatnot. But I started with, I don't care who sees me doing this. I'm doing it for fun for me. And I think having that headspace early on makes it so much easier to stick to whatever your freaking goals are. Because it's like, you know, it's like the saying where if you love your job, you'll never feel like you're working. So for me, just coming in and getting a pump today, right now, I'm excited for it. I'm not even thinking like, okay, I'm gonna widen my lats 1 inch over the next 2 years. Like, I'm not thinking that far ahead when I'm coming in and hitting these workouts. I'm thinking, man, let's get a pump. Because that feeling of just throwing weight around, getting after it, you know, whatever kind of psychological, neural, just whatever from that physical effort, that gets me hyped. So really, I'm just in a positive feedback loop. Enjoy the lift, reap the benefits, and enjoy the benefits from the lift, and then just freaking repeat the cycle, you know? So I guess this is kind of cheesy when I hear this, but it's definitely right. The idea of just loving the process. Because if you kind of rewire your mind in some kind of way, I can't tell you exactly how to do it. You know, go back and watch some Machiavelli motivation, all sorts of just old school bodybuilders or new school dudes, like workout motivation edits that just get you amped. And if you can get yourself excited, well, I mean, shit, you know, if someone is a total clean freak and they pride themselves on having a really clean room, they're not going to feel like it's work when they have to clean it up. They want to do it because they know what lies at the end of it. And I'm sure maybe that clean freak dude just gets a little bit of a dopamine release just from the action of the cleaning, right? So something to keep in mind. But either way, let's jump into these goals and tear it up. I wanna freaking explode my shirt off when I hit a lat spread, and then I won't have to take it off for the pose down. It'll just kind of freaking disintegrate. But let's get in there. Let's hit a heavy, wide row. So I'm not doing this, elbows down. I'm thinking elbows up and around behind my back so they touch. That's the cue. I'll probably have to do a drop set because this is a heavy stack. But any longtime viewers need to remember this is the same cable equipment at my old rec center in college. So I gotta tear it up. Okay. Okay. Oh, one more. No drop set necessary. Okay. Oh. Okay. One more. This time with a drop set though. I don't think I can do the stack only for a good set. I can add a little extra after. That was really good. Let's pick a new row. Okay. Oh, yeah. Let's lose a 25. Okay. Okay. Let's finish with something else. One more row though. Last row. Oh, okay. Let's grab a pull down. I'm not stacking this pull down. 300 available. I'm only doing 220. Okay, one more. But fuck, I gotta go even lighter than that. Do 200 only. A little wider grip. All right. Okay. Okay, shit. All right, let's do a single and pull over. Just a squeezing burning set, and then pick a good finisher. All right, this will be good. 5 each side. Yeah. Yeah, one more dose. And I promise, at least if it works and it clicks for you, I never feel my lats this low towards where they insert in your waist as much as I do when I do these light squeezing. Definitely something to try. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. I think I've got a plan for the last two. Let's make it happen and pose down. All right, first, a set of lat focus rows. I'll lean forward a little bit and keep my elbows more tucked than up and flared. Then we'll go from here. With a different song though. Alright, come on. This set's a little more pump focused. Alright. There we go. Oh shit. Oh, that's heavier than I thought. All right. Let's finish with one pull down. Then we're good. Last one. Let's get real here. Okay. Oh, shit. All right. Let's find some lighting. That was a good back day. There we go. All right. Thank you, Clear Image Zoom, for getting my 50 millimeter up to more like an 85. Hell freaking yeah. But I kind of snuck off in the corner. You know, there's nothing wrong with the pose down, but be respectful. You know, don't fucking totally hog prime gym real estate. You know, use your best discretion. But my back feels, like not even looking, just purely by feel, feels pumped as shit. So let's see if visually that's also the case. Let's zoom in just a touch further. Oh yeah, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Ooh. All right, that's what I'm freaking talking about. Let's have a post-lift recap in the car, but I gotta do cardio, so I'm not gonna hold up. Let's get started. All right, we're a little crooked, but don't worry about it. That's character. But no, that was a badass lift. I just got turned around in this parking lot again. It's tricky. But no, that was really good. Definitely upper mid back row focused. That was where a lot of the let's just say a lot of the damage was done. And during those upper back rows, especially those ones in the beginning where I have wide grip, pulling my elbows up like bar more so towards my chest, not my stomach, mainly mid traps, mainly feeling that scapular kind of retraction of like up here, not downward. But you still get some lats, you know. There's you got to be a freaking muscle mastermind to be able to purely work your mid traps upper back with zero lat engagement. And maybe it's just not even possible, because your lats are always going to be involved in this sort of backwards action. So that's what made me think before, shit, man, if I'm hitting back, just hit the whole thing. You're always rowing. You just do it at different angles. But even though I still think that's the case, it warrants, I feel, trying to at least target, isolate as much as you can that upper back section, and then treat the lats kind of on their own. But by doing those, especially heavier rows where your lats do come into play a little bit, the lats were cooked from that beginning section. So it's almost like kind of doing a pull day, right? You hit back first, your biceps are kind of already pretty fatigued a little bit, and then you finish them off. Now, I don't really like the feeling of a pull day like that because I want to hit my biceps fresh. It just kind of feels better for me. But in this instance, with mid traps getting like 90% of the damage, like I'm going boom, body, 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 all towards the, upper back. You get a couple headshots in there too. That's the lats. And then you switch. I don't have any boxing skills, but I like that analogy. But another thing I was about to say is I've got to be the most spoiled freaking lifter in the freaking world. Internet comments aside, actual in-person interactions. Whoops. Yeah, turn you around there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, now we're even more crooked. Shit. But actual in-person, in the gym interactions, always just freaking sweet. Everybody gets excited about lifting. Holy crap, Sam's in my gym. I mean, I do not get sick of that feeling, that's for sure. So that makes it fun for me. I feel like I'm in my home gym everywhere I freaking go. So obviously sometimes it's cool to hide away in the dungeon when I'm back in Ohio. But every time I'm traveling around, it's just makes the trip a little more fun. A little more freaking fun, I say. But, what was I going to... Oh, I guess there's no but. That's kind of all it is. But everybody in there was killing it. Typically, you're never going to go wrong with a Gold's Gym. And around here, there's not really much else, at least close by. Sometimes I'm like, all right, I want to hit this gym, this gym, this gym, this gym. But sometimes one does the trick and you're freaking golden. So yeah, that was good. Tomorrow, arms, definitely coming back to that same pose down spot because they knew what they were doing when they made that lighting. And then the rest of the time, get some food in my system. Cardio done, 30 minutes, 300 and something calories. Dude, today is starting off perfect. I really couldn't ask for anything better. Maybe if I woke up a little bit earlier, that would help. But yeah, get a little bit of UV. I'm gonna go try and see if I can see some whales tonight, do a little whale watching. I don't know if it's on a boat or if it's like on a... I guess I'll freaking find out. But either way, awesome back day. And this summer is starting off strong. So I will see you tomorrow for some arms. Hopefully a skin splitting pump. But even if it's a little less so than that, I've never actually had a real skin splitting pump. Right? Let a lift a dream. Let a lift a dream. All right, don't hold yourself down by thinking I'll just get an okay pump. Nah, man. Shoot for a freaking Gold's Powerhouse pumping iron Arnold arm day, where you're sitting here doing the, you know what I'm talking about. But either way, I'll see you tomorrow for some arms. I'm already getting excited about it, and I just freaking hit back.